why don't we start off with I shouldn't call you the rookie, right? You've submitted some poems to New Poets Wednesday, haven't you?
I
Yeah.
have.
So, and we really appreciate that too, because it's very important to us. We being my
Well,
man.
thanks for sponsoring. I think it's nice, so I appreciate that.
Great.
So
Now,
I'm new at
Dean's been
this.
writing poems since he was at least 12 years old.
Yeah, yes, I have. I've been writing poems since I was just a young guy. So
That's impressive. Well, I say that because I don't think I did. I used to do some writing just because my mother taught me to read at a kind of an early age, and she would read to me. And I think I was about ready to go into kindergarten when I dropped mom. I said, "You're reading too slow. Come on, pick it up, mom." And it's like, I know the story moves faster than that. So I've been kind of a pain in the ass most of my life. But I would like to offer you the first poem. We'd like to hear from you.
All right. Well, I've written quite a few, but I'll do this one for this session. So this is my latest one. Laying in bed alone, wishing you were here. Empty is my room. Lonely is the air I breathe. I close my eyes to find you deep inside of me. I reach out to you only to find the coldness of the sheets undisturbed and your pillow staring back at me. In an empty room, lonely is the air I breathe to find the blackness of the night that binds me.
Wow.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it very personally too.
Yeah.
Having lost my wife, and I'm not even saying that that's what it was about, but it struck me that way. Like, yeah, I remember that feeling. And I cut Bobby off. He was giving you some explanation.
Critique? Oh,
No, not a critique. Now,
I slipped him $5. I figured it would be positive, but man.
Yeah. Well, he
credit.
gave me an apple fritter and coffee on Monday
Oh
morning.
yeah, I'm trying to buy his
there you go.
So whatever Dean writes, I like, because I might want another apple fritter and coffee next.
I can be
see. You're shameless, Bobby. Shameless.
I am.
We've always known that. So
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
Dean, how you started very young? Is that what you're saying? Right.
Well, I started out, believe it or not, I was in a contest the first time. I had always written, even when I was 8 years old, but never anything serious. And then I was in sixth grade, and the teacher asked us at that time if we would write a poem. And it was kind of, I've always had this ability to write, and I never know what I'm going to write. I mean, I don't sit down and think this is what I'm going to write. It's just like after I write it, it's like I read it for the first time. But what was amazing about this poem, which caused the teacher to accuse me of plagiarism, was called.
That's always a good sign,
Well, it was called The Last Winter. Well, because I wrote this poem, The Last Winter, which really was kind of strange and amazing, because The Last Winter is about this person's last time on Earth, and realizing that it's coming to an end. So I wrote this poem, and it basically, once I wrote it, the teacher basically said, you couldn't have written this. So he was going to disqualify me, but it turned out in the end that it was something that I wrote. And basically, I was given top honors for the class for the poem that I wrote in sixth grade. So that's
a great story.
Called The Last Winter, and I'll be glad to share it maybe on the next one, because I don't take everybody's time, but it is one of my most favorite poems. But again, what's amazing about writing is that it comes out of you, no matter what age you are. You can write about just about anything. And then when you read back at it, you wonder, how did you write that? And again, of course, The Last Winter was amazing because it was about this person that was dying. So anyway, but I will share that on the next one, I promise.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good habit to come with. We've found we're still doing an hour. We may expand that, but yeah, in an hour's time, if we're going to talk a little bit and read some poems, we usually bring 3 or 4.
That's fine. Well, I've got that many, but I don't want to. But there's other talented people, much better than me, with Mr. Havens and Dell. So I'll
Okay, I guess I gotta let that go. You know, it's like, that's your opinion.
but I'll be glad. I'll be glad to circle back and do another poem.
Oh, okay. Well, that's, I guess that's all I can ask, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm anxious to hear what Dale has.
I'm anxious to see what you have, Bobby, because I have two poems that kind of go together. So why don't you go ahead?
All right. Well, I don't even have one poem that goes together. So
that's a lie.
I was
That's
kind
not,
of
that's not true.
weak on the
Well,
poems.
those
Get
are the
some
good
good
ones.
stuff.
Go for it.
These last 2 weeks, I was kind of weak on the poems. So, and you know me, I find graphics which inspire me to write a poem. So I took a selfie one day of me laying in bed and a grimacing look on my face, and I thought, what can I write for this one? So here it is. Because these days I am thriving on pain pills. That's how I make it through each day right now. So here's my poem. Bobby's pills are quite the deal. They reduce his pain and help him chill. But they're more a mask because a pill can't heal. But still, just the same, please, in God's holy name, make certain Bobby takes his pill. Because if he don't, I swear you won't have peace or quiet or rest that day. Because if Bobby don't chill, he can be quite the pill.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Somehow I expect things like that from you. I don't know why, but
Well, sometimes I write these beautiful poems, and other times my brain is in the garbage can somewhere.
well, tell me about it. I've had some garbage. Matter of fact, I got some garbage for you all today. I'll let Dale set up my garbage. Or
Oh, you will.
actually, yeah. Did you ever say anything that didn't come out quite right?
Well, I want to read two because one I've read before, but what I started with the one I'm going to read, I started with this one, and my idea was to write one following. So they kind of go together as contrast. So, okay, you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, it's called lanai
Yep.
time because in Hawaii, the patio is a lanai. That's, you know, what you call it. Okay, and I've read this before, but it's been a while. Do you know South Maui beaches? Do you know the evening air that skips around feet propped up on windward chairs? Trade winds that skim the ocean, puff mist between spread toes. Wiggles, suppress giggles, and tickles around my nose. Even with my eyes closed, I know South Maui air. From toes to nose, the mist rides low and settles in my hair. So that's how I feel about Maui. Okay, now here's my desert poem.
Okay, well,
Well, I start, you know.
We get a
like-
twofer. Way to go, Dale.
she's a traveler, you know.
Yeah, well, and see, the thing is,
yeah,
my idea was to write a nice poem about Arizona, and somehow it took a left turn and went someplace else. So here's desert time. Do you feel the grit in Phoenix? Do you feel the arid air that turns your skin to parchment and makes straw of your hair? Dust storms the size of oceans roll walls of sand. Haboob. I feel the desert in my nose. My crusted blood, achoo. The air turns to coldness when sunset flares its sight. I squint all day, then get my coat and shiver every night. I know the air in Phoenix. It's brutal, but we stay. like quail and coyotes, we never fly away.
Huh?
And I
Very
forgot
nice.
to mention at the beginning, the word haboob. You guys should know that, right? That's the big
Yeah.
dust storms.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Very
that's
nice.
quite a contrast.
Yeah, very
Yes,
nice.
Hawaii.
unfortunately, yes.
Well, they are like yin
beach.
and yang, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got an island and you got a desert.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
nice.
well, in fact, an artist friend of mine several years ago who used to live in New Mexico, we were complaining about the desert and the island life. And he said, the island life is the female source and the desert is the male source.
Oh,
So,
That's deep.
well, that's kind
That's
of brutal
chauvinist.
in one way you look at it, but I kind of like the island part of it.
yeah.
Nicely
Well, and
put,
you
I
got
think, yeah.
you got the island
Yeah.
back behind you there.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah, that's
very
Maui.
lovely. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
That's
thinking
Maui
maybe-
looking towards Lahaina.
Cool. I think I like something new, you know. I'm kind of tired of looking at my workroom, which is basically where I'm sitting. You know, it's my computer, and I live in this room basically. I just wanted to say, I thought the rhymes in that poem really drove the poem. It was just, I was kind of like waiting for the sound. Yeah, it had a nice sound to it. So
Mm,
I like that. I like that.
thank you.
Okay, so here's the deal. You know, if you have to explain a joke, it probably wasn't that funny. You know, I mean, there is that. But I feel like, considering the content of the poems that I've selected for today, I should give it a little bit of an introduction. I am constantly trying to get my web manager to create a part of my website just called okay, I forgot what I call it. Anyway, it will I'm sure when I read a couple of poems, you'll see where I'm coming from. And I wanted that particular section to be nothing but the snarkiest poems that I've ever written. And so that you could just skip all the stuff about reading my other maybe more hopeful poetry or whatever it is that I write, and just go right to the ones that are really snarky. And I have not been able to convince her to do that. So what I'm doing for you all today is I got them in the book. I got them. So I'm gonna lay some snark on you today.
Okay, go
smart.
for it.
So just so my Mr. Nice Guy image can be somewhat modified.
Okay.
I think I've read this one before. Maybe I won't. Do you remember me reading a poem called a Modest Declaration, where I start out, I'm not a white man, and yada yada yada.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
All right, so I'll skip that one. This next one is just as bad. Okay. It's called Old Man's Rap.
Mm, mhm.
Okay, the human's race is in a hell of a place. When we try to erase truth from the face of the earth, we disgrace as we spoil the soil and pollute the air with a laissez-faire that would scare the hair off the ordinary robber baron back in the good old days. Ain't no walk in the park when the money goes dark and trillionaires triple down on the crown. Now, I can't be sure because my mind ain't pure, but I thought I heard the big man say, history don't mean nothing. I don't tell it to mean. And what I mean to say is history speaks when I tell it to speak. And it says what I want it to say. Because it turns out history works for me. And I fired it yesterday. That's right. Turns out history works for me. And I fired it yesterday. Ain't no walk in the park when the money goes dark and trillionaires triple down on the crowd. Now, I can't be sure, but because my mind ain't pure, what I thought I heard the big man say, turns out history works for me. and I fired it yesterday. Fired it yesterday. Fired it yesterday.
Mm.
There you go.
Good.
Snark number one.
What a snark, man.
Oh, I'm just
Snarkiest poem I ever heard.
I loved the flow of that though. That particular poem, Gary. I loved the way the rhymes flowed, the words flowed, the lines flowed. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I didn't really decide, but it's kind of true that if I put a tag on the end of a poem, that's what you do very often with a song. So more than likely, at some point in time, I had in my mind to see if I get somebody to write a little tune for that, because I did put the ending on it. But that's down the line, but thanks for the comments, appreciate it.
So when you say that you like history, but you fired it yesterday, what does that mean?
That means that I'm talking about somebody who has no regard for history whatsoever.
Okay.
He's talking about you, Bobby.
That's me. That's me. I'm fired.
You lean a little more on the personal side, but
He didn't want to mention your name. He just wanted to throw it out there.
I love that you like the rhyme, though. I mean, you like the rhythm, and I'm conscious sometimes of just I don't know if I'm conscious of trying to create rhythm, but when I'm writing and it seems to be flowing, I can actually get into it, and say,
Yeah.
if that was dot 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 dot, I should be able to come up with another dot 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 do wop or whatever.
Yeah, I know, and it's not that easy to do sometimes, to find those exact words.
Yeah.
I loved my poem about the pills. I loved the way it flowed, the first verse.
So did I. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
to find words to keep it going were a lot more difficult. But I finally found them.
You did, indeed.
So I must not be a very good poet because I don't really try to rhyme. When I write, I never try to rhyme. So
I think
I've
that's
always
great.
found it amazing that people that write poetry, I mean, I do this as a compliment. I just something I don't do. It's my Achilles heel. I never really, when I write, it's never really with poetry about rhyming. It's really about sending a personal message that comes within me. But I find that, again, that's one of my Achilles heel. I just very seldom write poetry that rhymes.
I don't think that's an Achilles heel at all. I think it's just who you are and what you do. And fortunately, you'll be around for a while, and maybe you'll write some. I didn't used to like rhyme because I always associated with dumb poetry that if you're trying to get a date in high school or something, you come up with a clever little rhyme and something. So a lot of my stuff doesn't rhyme, and I don't care. I'm not. It doesn't bother me. But sometimes it does.
Well, I want to make a plug here for internal rhyme, because
yes,
as far as the
yes.
sounds go, and I love alliteration.
Good point.
Bring those. You do the alliteration, and then you have the internal rhymes. You have the oohs and the ohs, and you don't have to rhyme the words.
Yeah, and a lot of times those are overlooked, but I do notice it in your poetry for sure, and I agree. Yeah.
Well, I've been writing more rhyme now than I have in a long time, just because it's an area I haven't spent a lot of time on, and now it's like a new challenge, So.
Who was the gal that wrote haiku? She almost had me going. I was gonna try a new art form. I was gonna try to write haiku. And
well, I wrote that haiku that you told me I'm inspired to write a haiku now. I just felt, like that kid, that 9-year-old kid who said, if you haven't done Shakespeare, you can't call yourself an actor. I just thought, man, if I can't write a haiku, then I can't call myself a poet. And so I wrote that haiku that one day and shared it with you. So
I still can't
have it under my belt, but I haven't done anything more. I've not done any more haikus. They're not easy in my book, and they don't make
Right.
much sense to me.
They're too short. They're too short.
Yeah.
Well, what I said about that haiku that I wrote was that it's really, you have to have a title for it to get the meaning of it, because,
Yeah, right.
because you're
Maybe,
so
yeah.
concerned about getting the 3, 5, 4 words or whatever it is per line with just the right syllables. And it just, yeah, my haiku didn't make any sense except for the title I had for it. So
You can do it that way, Bobby, but you could just decide, okay, you have this definition of haiku, everybody else has a definition of haiku. My definition of haiku is it's a short poem that is clever and makes you think about something. And I don't try to put it all
the syllables and the words.
Yeah, well, no, actually I don't. But it's short, like a haiku.
Oh, okay.
Short is that's it for me.
Well, you're
Okay,
not, then if you're doing it your own way and not by the rules, it's not a haiku, it's maiku.
That's right. It's just a couplet.
It's a maiku.
Well, it's a bit more than a couplet. A couplet
I
is
can
two.
write a
I
maiku.
know math. I know a couplet.
I make up
two.
the rules, I'll do what I want.
There you go.
And the rhyming part, Gary, that first poem I wrote that I showed you, called One Day, about my son and his passing.
Yeah.
That didn't rhyme at all. And you said that's a great poem. And I said, I thought poems had to rhyme. And you said, no, they don't. So I submitted some more poems to you. So mine don't always rhyme either. In fact, my next one, I don't think rhyme.
I think the
But
subject.
we're not at me. We're at Dean. We're at
Yes,
Dean's.
Dean's up.
So I basically,
point.
I'm going to do this from memory. So I was, this was in 6th grade. It's called The Last Winter. So let me see if I can do this from memory. Let's see. Oh God, let's see, hold on. Oh God, just one more winter, just one more winter. The trees so bare, they don't seem to care that it's cold and I'm growing old. The trees, the ground with its deadening look makes me wonder if this will be my last. The trees so bare, they don't seem to care. Oh God, just one more winter, just one more winter. I can hear the wind calling out. It's getting quiet, a dead quiet. And that's from memory. So.
Oh, that's very
Wow.
deep. Wow.
On two.
Well, that's where my teacher accused me of plagiarism.
Yeah, I can see
I was
why.
a young
Yeah.
kid, and there she said, "There's
Oh,
no way you could write about someone's last winter." So
I would have busted you too. What the heck? If you
you would have busted me as well.
Yeah, because it's too damn good.
Yeah, for somebody that's young. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
But
So that's one of my favorite
I'm
poems.
impressed by the poem, but I'm also impressed that you remember it.
Yeah.
Because I have not committed any of my poems to memory. And Bobby might say that's because you have no memory, but you'd be coming from the actor and you would say that. It has been said about me before, but
Well, I didn't say it, but that was funny, Gary.
I should, Dean, Bobby and I have been in a couple plays together, and he knows my weaknesses. Or, well, I don't know. I think it's probably enough said about it.
I know your strengths too. You're a wonderful person that I love being around. I have a lot of fun with you.
Well, thank you. As that's a great lead-in. It's my turn too, isn't it?
No.
No.
Oh,
Bobby.
It is
That was
my
such-
Speaking of
Oh,
memory.
I think
I never can get
I
I think it's
That's a
Bobby's.
good example of Gary's memory. Okay, so I told you I haven't been on the ball writing poems or anything, and so I was every Sunday morning. Carol and I have coffee together, and then we go to our church and have breakfast together. And so I was sitting there telling her that it's Poets Week and I haven't written any new poems. And so I was sitting there while we were having coffee, and I said, "Hey, I just wrote a poem about us." And so I read it to her, and I've edited it and refined it a little bit since then. And I told her, I said, I have graphics on my poem, so I said we're going to need to get a picture of us at the church we eat breakfast out on the patio at the church. So anyway, this is the poem. It doesn't rhyme. Coffee in the morning with Carol, breakfast at church with Carol. It must be Sunday, the Lord's Day. Or is it Carol's day? Or is it my day? No, it's the Lord's Day for sure. And Carol, one of the Lord's bestest blessings. And coffee, one of the many enjoyments the Lord gives, like breakfast and church and Sunday on the Lord's Day.
Okay, you have to send me that one.
Yeah, it's nice.
I do?
I'm going to share that at church.
Are you?
You should. Yeah, that's a perfect.
Did you like that word I made up? Joyments?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, and coffee, one of the many joyments that the Lord gives. Like
No, it
breakfast.
sounded just like a
Sure.
real word to me. I didn't even question it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't rhyme, but and there's a great picture. I wish I could show you the picture. It's beautiful sitting out there on the patio while one service is finishing up. We're eating breakfast, and then we go in and do church. So anyway, that's
Very
I think
nice.
I think it's Gary's turn.
No,
Oh,
I think it's my turn.
so now it's
Oh, no,
Gary's turn.
Elle's turn.
I had two the last time, so yeah, go ahead.
You ran two the last time?
I did. You
did.
forgot already?
She did two for, yeah.
A twofer, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
she did the.
All right, back
I
to
did.
the snark. Back to the snark.
Okay.
I did the old man's rap, right? The human race. I did that one.
Mhm. Yeah.
In my cups, I don't think so. But I do have them marked off here, but they're not exactly sequential. Okay. In my cups. You know what? I do like this one. I think I will read it. It's called In My Cups. When I'm in my cups, communing with my dark side, I tend to view history with a jaundiced eye. Wasn't there a time when Millard Taft and Howard Fillmore were made up names of dead presidents who, for all practical purposes, never really existed? And when future folks come to ponder denizens of more recent power, might they not be adding to that list Adolf Trump, President of the United States, just before the lights went out and we were plunged into our watery graves and stripped of history altogether?
I've never heard that one. That was good.
No, me neither. That's a different one.
It's in the book. What can I say?
Very nice. Yeah.
But like I said, this is in my cups. That's why I want the special section. You can read all my stuff, but if you're in the mood for snarky, you know right where to get it. They're all in the same place. That's my goal. Okay.
That's a good goal.
Well,
I need to separate my poems that way too, then I guess. I have given my daughters the code to the password to my phone and my iPad so that when I pass, they can get in there and find my poems and my stories. So I need to separate them into snarky and beautiful and ridiculous.
I don't know if you have to do all that, but it's
No, that's too much work.
yeah. Although I thought when I wrote my first book of poetry, I thought every section had to have an introduction. And in some cases, my introductions were longer than the section of poems that I was introducing. And I decided not to do that again. I said, that's not really greatly poetic, but I really enjoyed just kind of talking about what I was doing as opposed to doing it, you know. Anyway, okay, let me take a guess. Dean must
No,
be next.
it's Dale's turn, isn't it?
And
I
not
haven't
yet.
got it right yet, so you're probably right.
So you want me to do one more poem? I'll do one more poem.
Sure, do one. Yeah.
I would love to hear one more poem.
Time never stops, yet time is precious. Time slips by us. Time we lose before we know it. Time catches up to us. Time we now see in a window. Time ticks on day to day. Time is fleeting before our eyes. Time will not rewind. Time we now see. Time not lost to what would be.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
That's good.
It's all the trouble I can cause.
That I loved it. It was just bombed bombed out. Every one was like better than the last one. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very close to a rant, but I mean, in a good way, you know. I mean, a poetic way.
Thank you.
I love it. It's got to be my turn now, right? I'm gonna get a coach to sit with me, you know, and
No, I think
that's
it's
me.
who comes after Dean? It's not Gary.
It's
It's
Dale.
gotta be.
Well, I think it's about time I had one.
Yeah, it is. You did the
Well,
twofer, and then we have.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm going to be snarky here. This is one that I read
love it.
one of the times that Gary and I were the only ones here. So I know you other two haven't heard this. So, okay, this is called The Good Listener's Lament. You make me sad. Your world is grim. I listen to you and I feel bad. Your life is shit. What can I say? If you can't smile, I'll walk away. Not because I don't care. It's because I just can't stay and listen to you drone away. I'll try again some other day to bring my sunshine to your gloom.
Huh? No, I haven't heard that.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk about getting it off your chest.
Yeah, there's a
Believe
few
it or not, I'll
people
tell you
I'd like
why.
to send that poem to.
Well, that's just it. You know, when you're a good listener, sometimes, you know, you wish you weren't.
That's a very interesting concept. I've always felt like I was a good listener, but I don't know if I ever felt like I wish I wasn't. Now, okay,
Well,
sometimes
you're a better person than I am then.
I doubt that. I doubt that sincerely. But I know one thing, it is my turn now.
Okay.
right.
Whenever
Whenever, whoever
Okay,
it
Bobby.
really is, will make it yours. It's Gary's turn now.
Okay.
All in favor,
Okay.
say
All
aye.
right, all right.
Aye. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's terrible. I did I did In My Cups, right? I did that, I did that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it again today. A tangled trinity. Luck, karma, and fate. A mighty triad of avoidance, each sprouting champions and legions of disciples, each spawning dogma, conjuring canons of exclusivity, hawking salvation theories, each hell-bent to tame the tyranny of now and escape the watchful eye of the one true creator who asked for none of this as purchase for his love.
Very
Wow.
powerful. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has so much in it. I'd have to see it in front of me to.
Yeah.
Decide.
In fact, can you read it again, Gary?
I can. I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I love repeat performances.
I didn't know that was in the rules, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Say what?
I didn't know that was in the rules that we could repeat. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
of course we can. Of course we can.
It's always
well,
Dale. It's always Dale causing trouble.
yeah, I know. I know. But on the other hand, Nobody else asked me to repeat, so David.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, here we go. A tangled trinity. Luck, karma, and fate. A mighty triad of avoidance, each sprouting champions and legions of disciples, each spawning dogmas, conjuring canons of exclusivity, hawking salvation theories, each hell bent to tame the tyranny of now and escape the watchful eye of the one true creator who asks for none of this as purchase for his love.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as snarky as I was thinking.
Yeah,
No,
it's pretty
not as
snarky.
snarky. It's
No. Mm-mm.
So
it really makes you think about things.
I failed
Thought
snark.
provoking. Yes.
Say what?
Very thought provoking.
Oh, thought provoking. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So is it my turn?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thought it was mine, but that's fine.
Well,
I'm
I
not,
don't
I'm not
have
weighing
a,
in.
I don't have a new one. I can't remember if I read this one before, but it's one that I really like and have gone back and read it several times in the last couple weeks. I found a graphic of an old man looking in a pond, and the reflection of him in the pond is a young boy.
Mhm.
So it made me think of when I was young and what I have made out of that. So I guess it's in the words of the young boy looking up at the old man, and he says, "Hey, old man, I can't believe how far you've come and all that you have done, but more importantly, who we have become. You took a small, innocent lad and taught me how to respond when I get mad, how to live happy and glad, but more importantly, how to be grateful for what I had. Who knew what you'd be able to do as time flew and we grew, me and you? An innocent little boy who was then formless, emerged as an old man who is now fearless. Life could not destroy who we were meant to be, and death, so close now, can't wipe out our legacy. Yes, we're close to being done, but boy, oh boy, we sure had fun, didn't we? You and me."
Yeah, that's a nice one.
That's
Yeah.
very nice, Bobby.
Yeah, very nice.
That's a lucky person that can say that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
Very
said it
nicely
so
done.
well. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I love that poem because I think as I look back on my life and try and remember when I was a kid and all of the things that were going on and what's happened since then and who I've become, I can honestly say, boy, oh boy, we sure had fun,
Mhm.
didn't we?
Yeah.
It's been a great, great, great life.
And not a lot of people can say that, I think. But
Mm.
anyway, you said it, and you said it really well.
Very
I
nice.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, the secret is to live a lot of years, and then eventually you're going to have a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's the way it goes, huh?
Well, if you don't think you have a lot of them to start with, sure.
Yeah.
Just keep making them better.
That's
Yeah.
the idea. That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that I haven't, I mean, I lost a son. I got divorced. There's all kinds of things that happened too. It's not that everything was great, but I think even in all of those heartaches, I was able to find some good in it and learn something from it and become something better for it. So
Mhm.
Well, and you celebrated your life. I love seeing that, you know. I don't think not everybody feels comfortable or even believes in celebrating their life, but uh, uh, you do, and I really appreciate it. Yeah.
thank you. And you all are a part of my celebration. I told Dean at breakfast on Sunday, I sure enjoyed this group. So
Mhm.
That's great. We enjoy it.
We're kind of fond of you too, Bobby, but I don't know if anybody knows it beyond our podcast, but we're growing. So one of these days, everybody's gonna know how much we love you. So there you go.
Okay.
We love Bobby. Yeah.
So Dean, does that mean you got enough?
I got one more. Actually, I got more, but I think this will probably finish it off. But it seems as though we know each other. I know I've seen you before. Was it in passing or lost memory? Or was it in a dream? I know I've seen you before. Won't you please tell me so we can share our memories? It seems as though we know each other. I know I've seen you before.
Nice.
I really like short, potent poems. I mean, it may be my favorite. You know, I don't always write them. I get long-winded, but I like that. It just seems to carry a little bit more punch, you know. But of course, on the other hand, I don't remember hearing. I don't remember hearing a poem on our program that I didn't like, unless it was, and I thought that wasn't as cool as I thought it was. But we could go on and on. Is anybody keeping time?
2:45.
Okay.
Oh,
I have one short one I'd like to share.
well, I'd like to have you share it.
Okay. This one is about I have some birds in Hawaii that do something that I haven't seen before. I mean, I've had bird baths before and I've seen lots of birds play in water and whatever. But I have a hedge at my place in Hawaii, and the sprinkler goes over it, and there's a pair of cardinals that actually bathe in the hedge. They take turns like they always do, you know. I mean, it's a mated pair, and you know, one watches and the other one bathes. You know, one's the lookout, and one by one, they actually jump into the hedge and roll around on top of the cut edge. You know, and then they preen or whatever. But I love to watch them do that. It's you know, it's just a real. And I've tried to get pictures of it, but you know, you can't get close enough, you know, before they'll fly away. So anyway, this is my little short poem, which I call Cardinal Pair. Redbird in my green hedge, redbird on my rail, fluttering in shrubbery, preening beak to tail, flying through sprinkler mist, rolling in wet leaves, taking turns, the two of them, drying in the breeze.
Very
Nice
nice.
image.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Sweet, but and to the point, but very nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't mean this as negative, but it's like I enjoyed your explanation of your interest, but not as much as I enjoyed the poem.
Oh, I was going to say you probably enjoyed that more than the poem.
No, you got right to it. You got right to it.
And shortened to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has its value. That has its
Yeah.
value. I know the question in your minds, is he snarked out yet? Has he had enough snark? So what I think we got time, right?
Yes, we did.
2:47.
Sure.
Well, this was actually not in the snark category. But I thought, well, just in case I got the opportunity, I thought I might close with a poem that's less snarky. And I kind of like it. What I really like is the picture of me beside the poem that
There you go.
I had an illustrator do it. I'd show it to you, but I don't think you could see it very well. I don't know.
No,
Anyway.
I can see a picture of you right now, though. There's your face. Your big smile.
You know what? I think I got on the same shirt too.
Well, that's your favorite shirt, probably, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, we don't need the picture. We got you.
Now, you know what? I got this from Teresa, our costume friend,
Yeah.
who has yet to grace our airtime here.
Yeah, I know.
He's promising me. Anyway, she gave me this because as a costume person, I had to wear this in a scene, and I said I like this so much, and I don't know. It must have been hers or something. I don't know where she got it, but she did give it to me. So, wow,
Huh? It's one of the shirts I loaned her. So,
It's colorful.
there you go.
You're making that up.
I am.
Even if you are, you ain't getting it back. So there.
Yeah.
This is called By the Light.
Okay.
By the light of this day, may you find the best way to let go of the hurt and the hate. By the light of this day, don't look the other way from the suffering of either side. I know things are rough, but one civil war was many times more than anyone thought was enough. By the light of this day, throw the headlines away and search the best parts of your heart. By the light of this day, you must find your own way to let go of the hurt and the hate.
Mm,
Very nice, Gary.
yeah.
Nicely put together.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Great message as well. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
This has been fun. Dean, you're a great addition, you know.
Thank you.
Better than 3.
Four's company, huh? All right.
There you go. There you go.
Well, if we can just get Teresa, then we have
What
5.
do we do with ourselves with 5, you know?
Yeah.
God.
5 is
Yeah.
a good number in an
You
hour.
might have to extend it for an hour and a half. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that was, I think Raven, he said, why are you doing it an hour? And I said, I don't know, because I thought it might be hard to fill up. Which it isn't, you know. I mean, we the 4 of us could go for another hour, I'm sure, if we wanted to.
Probably, yeah.
But if we had more people, we'd definitely have to add some time onto it, you know.
Mhm.
You know, it's everything is, there's, you know, just like, okay, it's just like trying to get a good time.
Mhm.
What time is good for people who live in Hawaii or someplace, you know, not outside of where we live, you know? And, you know, so it's like the same thing I think is true about time. How much attention span does the average person who might also be a poetry lover, how much attention span do they have? You know, could we keep their attention for an hour and a half? I don't know. But definitely, I think that, well, my thing is, if you don't get to read 3 or 4 poems, we're not getting what we wanted to get out of this. So I think we will have to extend the time, at least when we start getting some more people. And it's not like the number of people is that important. It's just that, you know, I mean, it gives you a different perspective, you know. To me, you're all three of you are totally different poets, but I love all your stuff. And yet none of you sound like the other one, which I think is amazing.
Well, we try not to cheat. We try not to copy each other's poems. Isn't that right, Bobby?
That's right.
You could have gone all day without mentioning that.
That's what I'm doing while Dean's making my copy.
Plagiarism is a great.
Notepad.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, the first law of art is, surely you must know that. You know? I steal all the time. You'd be lucky I didn't steal one of yours. I never steal a whole poem, but I've snatched a phrase here and there.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I think that's what
And you know, if it's convenient, I might ask a person's convenient, you know, their what am I trying to say here? Their permission. But convenience to me is, you mean I got to get on the phone and call somebody and ask them? That's way too much work. I'll just take it, you know.
Take it. Yeah. Ask for forgiveness later. There you go.
Right. There you go.
Well,
I'm very
I'll just
careful not
give
to
you
steal from you
blanket
guys.
permission right now, Gary. You
Yeah,
have
you have
blanket
permission on my
permission.
side
You
as
can
well.
There you
use
go. There
anything.
you go. I couldn't ask for more. Dale's looking at me like, I don't know about that.
Oh, I
She's
think
holding
that's
back.
good.
She's holding back. Yeah.
Well, but see, I had the great honor, I was contacted by somebody that wanted to use a line out of my book. And I thought, wow, you went to all the trouble to contact me to ask my permission.
That is great.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah. So she must be a newbie, see.
Or she really was moved by your line, which is quite.
Well, of course, it was a fabulous line. It's one of my favorites too. So I was really tickled. Yeah.
There you go. You can't lose.
Yeah.
Now I'm jealous. I want to duplicate that. I want to see if I have see if hey, have any of you guys ever taken one? You know, because there are a couple of people that know I write. You know, when it's like I might ask them. I said, yeah, you ever think about stealing a line here or there? You know,
We all
They
learn
probably
from
say
everybody
no.
else. Yeah.
They said no, actually, you know. But anyway, this has been great. And Dean, I think you're a great addition to our group.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Love working with Dale and Bobby as well. So hopefully we'll grow it more, and I'll have to come up with some more poetry. So
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
That's the working part of it. It's like, oh no, it's this week and I have to have some poems.
it's like homework, right?
Homework.
Yeah, there is that. But you know, I'll tell you exactly how much time I put in it this week. It was 20 after 1. And I had the idea in my mind. Today was going to be snark day no matter what, you know, because I got them all in one book, you know, and I said, oh, I didn't get that. But I didn't even look at the poems or choose them until I was about 10 minutes into it because, you know, I had to fuss around, I had to drink some water, I had to get up and walk a little bit, you know. And next thing you know, it's 1:45, you know, and it's like, but
Right. Yeah.
it's rough being me. I don't know if people appreciate that or not.
You got that natural talent. You could probably do it a minute before 2 and still blow us away. You're Gary.
You actually memorize your poems. I'm impressed by that. You know, I've never been able to pull that off.
Yeah.
And I've got some short ones.
I'm just glad I didn't get charged with plagiarism. I would have been forever. Because who knows? Maybe in my dreams I may have stole it from somewhere. I don't know.
Well, see,
Yeah, maybe you heard them.
But you know
Yeah.
what? That's a good alibi, though. It's in my dreams. You can't bust me for my dreams. Come on now.
Yeah, you can't bust me for that, right? Yeah.
Well, I make a prediction here. If we stay together long enough, I think there's going to be some inner thievery going on. I don't see how we can avoid it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes that's the best flattery, right? So if someone takes something you've done, so,
There you go.
so take it with grace, right?
That's
So,
right. Right.
Well, we don't have to worry because nobody makes $1 million writing poetry, so we don't have to worry about monetary loss.
well,
I'd like to be the first to do it, though.
It's great to share. It sure is. So.
Well, it is, and I really feel like we're just scratching the surface here. I think there's more to us and to our idea of just getting together to share poetry. I mean, I didn't have anything like this in my life until we started doing this. I mean, I would read poetry in bookstores and stuff like that, but it's not the same as getting together with a group of poets and hey, this is what I got this week, and it's like I'm really enjoying it. So
Good.
But I got a confession to make. I'll probably have a confession to make every week. I mean, every time because it's like, you know that catchy little ending we have for our
Yeah.
You forgot it.
I was trying to remember it about 5 minutes before we came on, and all I could remember was I can't even remember that now. Oh,
Keep writing is
something
good
about
for you.
writing is good for you. All I
Keep
could
writing.
remember was it's good for you.
Keep writing, it's good for you.
Keep writing. It was that simple, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have
Well,
known.
but there's three parts. The first part was, that's all for today. Remember, keep writing. It's good for
Writing.
you.
It's good
Oh,
for you.
Well, writing, the thing about writing is it's never lost. You may have gone a different direction in life and maybe gone on to another dimension, but your writing is something that stays for you forever, and someone can read it 20 years from now and go, wow, they've learned a lot.
Yeah.
So I think writing is a personal thing, but it's also something that's more permanent. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'll shut up.
Oh, I thought that was I thought that was a very nice ending for our day today. That was pretty
Yeah.
good. You know,
Right.
Pretty good.
yeah. You need to come back. Well, I mean,
I don't know if we leave it up to the vote with Dale and Bobby. I could be on the odd man out here.
No, I'm voting
I'll
for
have
you
to
to
kiss
stick
up to
around.
Yeah, you made the
Coffee,
grade.
coffee. Don't forget coffee and apple fritters.
Coffee and fritters.
you're in. Don't talk me out of it.
All right, thanks. All right,
All right. It was good to see all of you.
all right. Thank
Absolutely.
you. You guys take care.
Okay, see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Don't forget. Keep writing.
Keep
writing.
For you.
Good for you.
Absolutely, it's a
All right.